Yes, perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah, so it's my honor to welcome Sailaja Akka here. That's a name I give to Akka, and she's very comfortable. I'm comfortable with that name, and in fact, on my phone, she is saved as Sweetness. So she's someone, yeah, I know Akka for the last 2 decades, and she breathes and practices what she preaches, which is compassion, kindness. And when I remember the first time we did a stress-free seminar or how to be peaceful or something like that, I was realizing this is a perfect person to talk about this topic because you ooze that kindness, that compassion in no matter what she does. It's her work, it's her life, it's the way Akka conducts with anybody that comes in front of her. She's completely service minded. That's my honor, Akka, and I'll let you introduce yourself, please.
Thank you, Sheetal. To everybody here, that I'm so glad to be here. And Sheetal is sweetness. So when you're sweet, you see sweetness everywhere. So there's a little bit of jaundiced idea. I'm not that sweet, and but it's my pleasure to be here. It's my pleasure to be a part of this wonderful group. And how do I introduce myself? I was drawn into mental health, I think, 30 years ago. Don't count my age now, but I've been in the field of mental health for the past 30 years. I was working in community mental health as one of the health services supervisors for 27 years. And I also had this wonderful opportunity of having my own clinic. So, basically, I have a clinic in Ann Arbor, and I do therapy. And I was lucky to be drawn into my family services, which is a domestic violence program in Michigan. I am a volunteer caseworker there, and it's just that I get pulled into lovely things and meet lovely people along the way. And it's my pleasure to be here today and share with all of you and learn from all of you. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Akka. So we want to know, like, very practically. So when we are in the middle of situations and we feel the emotion, we know in our head what's the right thing to do, but here we are feeling, we feel like the emotion is taking over us. So the emotion is controlling us, right? So we feel either judged or overwhelmed. All these things that we want to be better. So how do we get to a situation? And I want it in a very practical way, Akka.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let us talk about it in a practical. And all of us have been in that situation. And it is a part of our life every day, pretty much. We get stuck in a traffic jam while going to work. The children are having sickness when you have to do a major presentation at work. Or something else is happening that is completely kind of throwing a curve into your life and into the situations you're dealing with. Sometimes people call it stress. Sometimes people call it anxiety. It could be any of those names. So let us talk a little bit about what is anxiety or what is stress. So basically what happens is when we perceive something as scary, something as difficult to deal with, then it is our perception that that is scary. For example, how many of you can do a show of hands with your thing, with how many of you are scared of a tiger? Me too. I'm scared of the tiger. And why are we scared of the tiger?
Because it will eat us.
That is our perception. And why doesn't the zookeeper get scared of the tiger? Right? The zookeeper can pet the tiger. We all know of people in different countries who have tigers as pets. Why are they not as scared of the tiger as we are? It is our perception of something. Suppose I perceive cooking as something bad or something difficult, then I'm going to be scared of it. But there's so many people who love cooking, they dream cooking. So many of you might love to drive on the highway, and so many of us might be scared to drive on the highway. So if you look at it, there was a social psychologist called Skype. He spoke about how stress is how you perceive it. So whenever we perceive something as difficult, and you might say, Shelja or Rani, like this is very difficult. What you're saying is very difficult. I deal with it every day. How can I perceive that when my child is sick, not to be stressed with it, what not to be anxious about it? What happens to our brain when we get anxious or stressed is there is a part of our brain that's called the amygdala. And the amygdala, I call it my mother's mother because the amygdala is really the part of our brain that remembers all the stories and sometimes misperceives some of the stories. So, it may think I was stressed at a certain time, but what the amygdala does is whenever it thinks that I'm scared of something, whenever I'm going into a dark room, my amygdala asks my brain to get stressed. Whenever the children are sick, my amygdala tells my brain to get stressed. And how does it do it? It uses some neurotransmitters called adrenaline and cortisol. So adrenaline, cortisol, norepinephrine, and you can name a few of them. But those chemicals, like those chemicals, are actually helpful. Like when my adrenaline is high, I can run a race. When my adrenaline is high, I can cook for 20 people and not be and then crash. But basically, those neurotransmitters are the ones that make us feel anxious, make us feel stressed. So that is the story. But now your question is, how do we deal with it, right? And how many of us have heard of stress management?
Yeah.
Stress management. But we won't talk about stress management. Let's make stress our friend. So when you think about it, whenever you have a friend, even if the person is somebody who you thought you did not like, when you make them your friend, you look for the positive in the person, you love the person for what talent they bring in to the situation. So if we make stress our friend, then what happens is it becomes so much more easier for us to not judge it and not be scared of it, including the anxiety. Like if we make anxiety a friend, say, okay, I know I'm going to be anxious. I know I'm going to be stressed. And all of you have done it. All of you have made stress your friend sometime or the other, or anxiety sometime or the other. Can you think of an example when you made stress or anxiety your friend?
This is so good perspective, Akka, to see that what we're scared of is our friend. So the tiger is my pet. And when I make the tiger pet, I mean, I understand there is a structure to making the tiger a pet. I'm not going to walk into the wild and assume the tiger will be my pet. But it's in my mind and it's in the process of how the taming of the wild beast happens. But I know you're gonna address that part. But once we get there, right? For me, that was exactly what I was doing without realizing this analogy is when I jumped off the plane. I'm like, oh my God, because that is super scary for me. That was something I would never do. But somehow with that process of it's okay, it's safe. I am safe. This is a very safe process. Nobody died so far doing this, especially with this company. So if I can, excuse me, talk myself into safety feeling, I think that's when I can domesticate a wild situation. Like earlier we were talking about someone who's getting on the stage and they get the nervousness before the stage. So there's this self-talk, there's chanting, there is a lot of picking ourselves up to tame that situation of going on the stage.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Aruna mentioned here very correctly that every day at work it's stressful, but we do it. And any other examples that you can think of when you did make friends with stress? Actually, all of you have done it. I know. I don't know your lives, and this is the first time I'm meeting you. Just like Sheetal, when she jumped off the plane, she made friends with stress. But I know of several other times that she's made friends with her stress or anxiety. When do you think you've done that, everyone?
Anybody? Deepa?
Yeah, I kind of tend to do that, I guess. Now, I've never been conscious about it, but now that you're mentioning it, because I do have my little escapes, when I have a stressful week, I literally take off on a Saturday morning to go have my own breakfast with self. And, I like to have conversations with, the waiters or whoever at the restaurant, just random conversations. So I think I've done that.
Absolutely. And, basically, if we think about it, every time we went to an exam, when we were children or when we were adults, did we run away from the exam? No, we went and wrote the exam. When we went for job interviews, we're all super anxious. We think our heart is going to pop out, but then we still go and do it. So that is the part where what what we're doing is that one word which will change your life is acceptance. So you accept the stress. You accept that, yes, this is a stressful situation. I had one of my family member in the hospital. I knew I was anxious and I knew I was stressed, but I said, no, I have to just accept it. Because when I'm accepting it, what happens is it's just like, suppose you're pushing the door from one side and I'm pushing the door from one side. What's going to happen?
Resistance, right?
100%. There's going to be so much resistance. I'm going to be tired. You're going to be tired. The door is not going to move. But then if then you let me in and I come in, you accept me, then what happens is we both are at ease. All the energy that we put into resisting a situation, managing stress, because managing stress is a very common word we hear. But if we reframe that and say, I'm just going to accept it. I know I'm going to be stressed when I do something. I know I'm going to be stressed when my child is giving a concert, or I'm going to, be stressed when I have to do something else. Small little big things, but once we accept it, it becomes so much easier. But I know some of you think, how do we accept difficult things? How do we make it our friends, right? Any tips? Because all of you have done it. What do you think you can do to accept things?
Like there is no other choice.
Absolutely. That's very true.
For
Any-
me,
Uh-huh.
I think the techniques I use to accept it is breathing.
Mhm.
Because before I face it, I consciously, do a quick 10-minute breathing or something. Then I feel that I am internally in balance. So
Lovely.
that,
Lovely.
Narayana, would you like to share, ask, or participate?
I'm listening.
Sure.
I was running some small tasks at home, but I'm listening. Very, very useful. I don't have any questions. I'm just taking it all in. Really good, really good. Enjoyed it.
Okay, thank you.
Mm.
So, Akka, for me to accept is to realize that there is a lesson inside this, and I'm gonna, breathe into it, because if I don't have a breakdown, I don't know how to have a breakthrough. Like there is shining happening at the end, but this star, whatever it is, like the diamond is being shined this way, that way. Instead of asking why me, for me, it's about, okay, this is another experience that you're coming out at the next.
Sure. Beautiful. Very beautiful. And both you and Deepa mentioned breathing, and we'll talk about breathing once. Breathing is one of the wonderful techniques that we all have. I call it the natural antidepressant that we all have, which we can use. And, one of the things is, along with breathing, is sometimes some situations are so difficult. And having a mindset, yes, that it's a part of life helps, so much. That's very true. And we're learning from all the great masters of the world. Like, none of these things are what we are creating and what we're saying. It's the great masters. I had one person in my life. She came into my life, I think 7 or 8 years ago. And her husband, sometimes I call those universal connections. We all have those universal connections that happen. And she basically had suddenly she came from India because her husband met with an accident in Seattle and he was in the ICU and she had no place to stay. So she was staying with us. But I know why God put her in my life, because he wanted me to learn so much from her. Very young, very beautiful person. And whole day she would, go to the hospital, stay with her husband. He was in the ICU. We thought that we would lose him. He was because he was a very, very in a difficult position for almost 4 weeks. Every night when she would come home, I would say, Aruna, kaisi ho? Then she would say, Theek Thak, sab kuch theek thak. And then typing it. So then it used to be like so beautiful. She never ever complained of what she had to do. She never ever said, what's going to happen to my life? What's going to happen to his life? She was living in the moment. She was living in that moment, like, acha chai piyenge. So we sat on the couch and had tea and watched some silly shows or whatever we did. But that gave me a true lesson of like, if we are in the moment, it becomes easier to make friends with the stress. So because sometimes our stress is because of autopilot. Like our mind is like, autopilot where it's like going to several different things. Oh my God, she said this, that means she does not, like that, those intrusive thoughts that become our friends sometimes. So we have to recognize that these are my intrusive thoughts. I'm not going to accept it. The other thing we do is spiraling. So spiraling is like, the bunnies, like what the bunnies do. They go in and in and in, then they divide into different places. So then I say like, oh, I have to do this presentation. If I don't do this presentation, then my boss is not going to like me. If my boss doesn't like me, I'm going to lose my job. If I lose my job, my children won't be able to buy that video game. If they don't buy the video game, what's going to happen? And I'm going to be homeless. I mean, especially when I work with young high schoolers, it's like they think they're going to be homeless because they can't do the exam. But we all do that. That's like the rabbit hole burrowing. And so it's like just for us to realize that it is just that part of it. Like when my mind is going into that little rabbit hole, then I have to stop myself and say, I'm in this going into the little rabbit hole, expose myself to it and say, stop. Because I won't go into a dark cave because I know it's a dark cave. I won't go into a hole that's not good. So just being in that place. So once we expose ourselves to it, once we expose ourselves to all these different thoughts, different thoughts, once again, these intrusive thoughts are coming from the amygdala. The amygdala and the hippocampus of our brain, and sorry, it's not a biology class, I'm sorry, but it's like once we understand it, it becomes so much easier because the amygdala and hippocampus remember all the stories. It remembers that I'm scared of a spider because I got bit by a spider when I was 8, or because I saw Harry Potter and got scared. Or maybe there's no story, but it'll still tell me, Rani, you're scared of that spider. So then whenever I see a spider, I get scared. Then I think, oh my God, if the spider eats me, then I'm going to die. If I die, my children will have no mom.
This is so true. I remember there's a storybook for kids. If a mouse finds a cookie or something like that, right, Deepa? It is so hilarious when I saw, and they have a series now. It became such a big hit. Like a moose finds a cookie or something like that. It gets so distracted, but this is a different thing where it gets so distracted. But that's exactly how, when you talk about the rabbit hole, for me, the analogy is like coming down, like a car coming down the hill. So the momentum picks up faster and faster. It's not even the same speed anymore. The first start, like compounding, interesting ourselves into like the darkness that is like, oh my God,
Exactly. And you know why we do that? There is a science to it. Harvard University has done a lot of research. Apparently, we have about 38,000 to 58,000 thoughts per day or something. Don't ask me how they got the research, but I'll see if I can get the link and send it to you. But basically, they said that, the research, even Boston University and other places, the reason why we do that is called a safety-seeking method. We're trying to keep ourselves safe from the worst possible scenario. We're trying to keep ourselves safe because if I already anticipate, so if I anticipate the worst possible scenario, then I'm going to prepare myself mentally for that. So just recognize that once we recognize it and once we try to prevent the response, it becomes easier. So like the Buddhists call our mind the monkey mind. Our monkey mind jumps from several things to other. So just be recognizing that, okay, ours is a monkey mind. And for me, I don't know about you all, but when I have to eat a burger, I have to cut into pieces. I know it sounds very silly, but I can't open up my mouth and eat the whole burger. So that's what we do to our problems. Just break it down to the simplest possible sequence and then try to fix it, collaborate with others, collaborate with everyone. We have experts everywhere. We have supports everywhere. You learn from the most unusual places. You may learn it from your kid. You may learn it from your puppy or your dog. and so it's like, I think every day, if my motto is like, by God's grace, I hope to learn a lesson every day, and that would help to move on. And with breathing, so the techniques are one, of course, everybody knows pranayama, and this group is such an amazing group. and just being aware of your breathing. And with pranayama also, there was, I think in 2019, the American Psychiatric Association conference, there was a neuropsychiatrist who spoke about how, the pranayama, I think he called it like 5, 6, 7 or something like that. But that technique, he's used it with many patients, and the research shows how it helps not only our mental health, but our physical well-being too. So, and this is like a group of experts, so breathing is a very good thing. The other thing is we have some natural antidepressants around us. What besides breathing, what is your other natural antidepressant that you can use?
Sunlight.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Anything else? Anything else?
Food.
Food, excellent. I love food. Anything else?
Smile, laugh.
Release.
Absolutely. I love that so much. And, does everyone, I didn't bring my glass of water. I always have one here. But water is like one of our most wonderful natural antidepressant. I have a friend who's an occupational therapist, and she said it's because it's a sensory tool. So even for many of my clients who deal with severe autism and may have extremely angry outbursts and different things, they, when you give them a glass of water, it calms them down. So one thing is, the next time you drink a glass of water, feel the water in your mouth. Take 30 seconds to let the water go through your throat. And yes, yesterday I did another workshop of stress friendliness, and the women said, "Oh my God, water tastes so good." But does water really taste? No, water tastes less, right? But it makes us feel that water tastes so good. And the other 5, the 5 senses that we have. So what you can see, what you can feel, what you can touch, what you can taste, and what you can feel, that here. So basically, when you go out today, try to hear at least 3 birds and make it a challenge for yourself. Actually, I play that game with myself or with any of the kids I'm with. Like, try to see how many birds you can. And, you feel the wind, even if it's cold, enjoy it. And see the sunshine, like Sheetal said. Touch whatever you can, a leaf or anything soft, or even your own hands. You have soft hands, all of you. And so the 30 seconds or 2 seconds or even 10 seconds is enough. And that will help you to dispel any of the difficult situations you're dealing with, or bring you to a different place and say, okay, now let me make it my friend. And, please try those things, and it'll definitely bring you to a different place.
Definitely, Ka. This is so beautiful, and I love the attention to listening to the birds, because it adds not nature into you. It makes you aware of something that's sweeter around. You know what? They are living such harsh lives, but they're still singing. And when you hear complain, it's like, I have 2 birds in the house, right? And they are and their lifestyle is so regimented. Like, there's so much we can learn. When they talk, they talk. When they are sleeping, they're sleeping. They're not overeating. It's incredible. Like, just that thought of going to a bird can come back, like your coach.
You're very, very correct. And, basically there was, when I had suggested this to somebody who was dealing with a lot of issues, and they came back to me and said, Rani, I didn't know there were so many birds in Michigan this time of the year. I said, there's birds in Michigan all the time of the year, but then it's like, how many times have we stopped to hear them? How many times? And sometimes it may be as easy as just sit with your kid and enjoy. Just enjoy, what they watch, or enjoy what they're coloring. Even those 30 seconds is stress management. And I know all of you have done it, so I'm preaching to the choir here. And, and so basically it happens sometimes, and we have been doing it. So just use that. Those are simple techniques that are around us to assist with dealing with stress.
Very beautiful analogies, and I love that you brought in biology. Because I remember hearing about the amygdala. It's like in the back, And it seems when a newborn is born, like a new baby is there for a mom's, it becomes really big. We become hyper alert. Like, did they wake up or do they need? And we wake up before they need to be nursed. We wake up before, for the diaper change, or did they fall, or are they okay? So what this documentary on Netflix was saying is that this amygdalim, I don't know how to say it right.
Amygdala. Yeah.
Never goes back, never shrinks back to before the kid, it seems. So the kid could be 45 and the mom is like, did you eat? Did you do that? Right? That alertness, like a meerkat,
Yes.
unfortunately spreads to every area. So yesterday there was a shooter incident at Huron High School. But I realized so many moms are worked up, even though it was a hoax. And I realized that we think we're conditioned that this is normal. If you care, you worry. And if you worry, that means you care. So,
100%.
yo, did you eat? Oh my God. Oh, you have 3 kids. Oh no, you have so much work to do. Versus, I have 3 kids I can play with. I am so fortunate I have a career, that's incredibly taking me to places. I am so blessed that my partner is so helpful. Like, I feel like that swapping, when you listen to the birds and you come back, I feel like it's easier to swap from complaining more to appreciating more. That usually is the trick I play on myself.
Beautiful. Very true, Sheetal. Very well said. And it's just how we perceive it and how we can, reframe it in our mind. And, yeah, I have a, cross section of the brain if anybody wants to see it, but, I don't know whether I can share. But the amygdala is also the place where we get the fear, fight, freeze, flight response from. So what happens is when you give me a chocolate or candy and I see it, the neurons of my eye sends it to my brain and it's somewhere here, the amygdala is somewhere here. And what would happen is the way it first goes to a place called the thalamus, which is the grand central station, which sends it to the amygdala and the frontal cortex. Our frontal cortex is our hero. So then what happens is the amygdala quickly responds and says, Rani, you love the chocolate, eat it right now. Or it would say, you're allergic to peanuts, don't eat it, don't eat it. So whatever stories we have get stored in there. And there are 3 ways in which we can deal with it. One, we can deal with it from our emotional mind, or we can deal with it from our objective mind or our wise mind. So if you ask me, Rani, how's the weather? If I'm talking to you from an emotional mind, say, oh my God, it's so cold and I can't go out and, I can't believe I'm in Michigan. That's my emotional mind because I'm being reactive. If I think of it from the objective mind, then I say, oh, you know what? It's 34 degrees. Actually, it is 34 degrees. So it's 34 degrees. So it's just the objective part of it. When I think from my wise mind, then I'll say, it's 34 degrees, but it's really nice and crisp and cool. I can wear a jacket, go for a walk. I can enjoy the birds. So the wise mind will look at the same situation, but with a different lens. So whenever you're responding next time, please see how you do it.
I want to come up with so the emotional mind, the objective mind, and the wise mind.
Yes.
Emotional mind could be, I would love to come up, when I remember, I love to use mnemonics or animals, with animals. So that's how I teach kids too. So what should we call our emotional mind? Baby elephant? Baby elephant is it?
I love that.
Trumpet is up complaining like it's too cold, I'm not going out, right? And then objective mind could be a cute orangutan baby saying like, oh, it's so cold, and it's basically just rational, right? It's just like, okay, this is what it is.
Yes.
And the wise one is like a wise baby owl saying, okay, it's cold, but we know it's good for us, so we're going to cover up, layer up, so that it's, I love it. Thank you, Akka.
Exactly. And you know what? The experts say that the wise mind is a combination of our emotions and the objectivity. So because our emotions are important, because we need to be compassionate, we need to be kind, we need to be caring, we need to be grateful. Like those are the mindful qualities that when we roll into our life becomes more beautiful. So it is a combination of the two. So I love the symbols you gave, Sheetal, and anything that can remind you of what you need to be doing so you're in a happier place. I love it so much.
This has been such a valuable, insightful, wise talk, Akka. I can't thank you enough. Thank you so
My
much.
pleasure. It's my pleasure. It's my
Yeah,
pleasure.
it's our honor and pleasure. For the last, like the takeaway, I want to give you a very practical example. Say I used to be amazing in handling certain investments or financially, like I was killing it in the past. Now I feel powerless. I feel like I am not doing enough. I could be, I was amazing. Now I don't feel amazing with that aspect. And there is a task list. Like today, I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do something else, right? But at the end of the day, it's not happening. And then there are people coming in, especially with holidays. There could be judgment going on. There could be like, what? Your kid doesn't sing? Oh, my kid sings, you know? Oh, your 2-year-old can stand. My 2-year-old can stand. You know, something like that, like basic stuff. How do we, in all these different situations, how do we employ the wise baby owl versus that uses the baby orangutan's opinions, views, as well as the baby elephant's emotional views?
Yeah, very good question. So how do you know that you have a phone?
A phone?
Mhm.
Yeah,
How do
my
you-
eyes.
Yeah, I see it. And suppose, like, I know some people who lose their phone in different places, and one of the reason is we use our phone all the time. Like we're always like, on the phone, looking at things that we don't need to look for and things like that. So one of the essence of any of these things is to like be aware and to use the tools all the time. As much as possible, use the sensory tools. Talk to others about it, talk to your children about it. So the more you use it, the more you know it's there. And so that is one part of it. And if everybody is okay with it, I would like to also do like a loving kindness meditation, which we can it would be about 3 minutes or 2 minutes. And because one of the most important thing for us is to give compassion to ourselves, to give love to ourselves. We do it for others. We always say, oh, I'm compassionate to everybody else, or I'm compassionate to the poor people. I did service in this organization. I did that, whatever it is. But the bigger part of everything is, what are we to ourselves? Look at that sequence. The first person that you have to take care of is your own self. Are you being compassionate to your body? Are you being compassionate to your mind? Are you being compassionate to your spiritual self and all the other parts of your life? And once you're compassionate yourself, then you are aware that that's the way in which you respond to others. So then what happens is it becomes so much more easier, and you remember these tools even in the most difficult situations. We always tell our children, please practice, please practice. And, and so basically, if we tell, the children, if you have to go to the exam, do your math several times so you can do it correctly there. We tell them that. And so we have to practice that. So however we can practice it in every part of our life, and create little reminders for yourself, whether you have, nowadays everyone has apps on their phone and or on the Fitbit or anything. So just take some time, like several times a day, to breathe or look at nature, drink a glass of water. So you're in harmony with yourself when you're doing that. And when you're in harmony with yourself, it just automatically happens. Like it becomes your second nature. And yes, sometimes as human beings, we may go off. That's okay. If you get angry, be compassionate with yourself. Don't put shame on yourself, and don't be guilty for your actions. Because sometimes those are the things that make us feel worse. Like we say, I can't believe I did that. I'm so bad. Then so even if that comes, let it come, accept it, and let it go off. So yeah. And there is this beautiful meditation, and I didn't create it. It was, created by a mindfulness guru, which is called loving kindness meditation. And I think especially at this time of the year when everybody is so stressed with so many things, shopping, children will be at home, what to do, work, deadlines, assignments, trips, everything. So this loving kindness meditation will start off with, I like to do a progressive muscular relaxation before we do that. So please find a nice peaceful position for yourself wherever you are. And the mindful breathing is as you breathe in, you let your abdomen inflate, and as you breathe out, let your abdomen deflate. So breathe in to the count of 4 and breathe out to the count of 4. You can breathe out to the mouth if you want to. Slowly be aware of yourself. We'll start with the muscular relaxation. Start with your toes. Please tighten your toes and release it. Tighten your shins. 1, 2, 3, and release it. Tighten your knees and release it. 1, 2, 3. Tighten your abdomen. Hold it. 1, 2, 3. Release it. Take a deep breath. 1, 2, 3. Release it. 1, 2, 3. If you're comfortable, rotate your shoulders clockwise 2 times and anti-clockwise 2 times. Tighten your elbows and release it. Put your hands in a fist and release it. Keep your hands in a relaxed position. Clench your teeth and release it. Crunch your forehead and release it. Every part of your body is relaxed. If there's any part of your body that's not relaxed, send a loving message to that part of the body. Think of that part of the body and just breathe in and breathe out. Now that your whole body is relaxed, just be aware of your breathing. Just be aware that you're breathing in and breathing out for 10 seconds. Be aware of yourself. You are a superhero. You're a superhero for your family, for yourself, for so many people in the world. Recognize the talent and strength you bring to any situation that you go to. Then slowly become aware of the inner hero, the superhero. Some people call it supreme consciousness. Whitney Houston calls it the hero in you. Whatever you want to call it, the inner hero that's in the little cave of your soul. That energy is maximum in your life. That is the power that you have. In this place, please think of a person who you love the most in your life, who gives you unconditional love. Let this person give you a nice, warm, loving hug. Accept the hug. And this person is telling you, may you be peaceful, may you be happy, may you be loving. Accept the peace, love, and happiness. Usually things grow when we reciprocate it back, so give it back to them. Give back the hug to this loving person, and may you say, may you be peaceful, may you be happy, may you be loving. Slowly think of another person you can give this love to. Give them a hug and give them the wishes of peace, happiness, and love. If you can, think of a person you don't like and then do the same. Give them a hug and give them peace, love, and happiness. Think of the whole world, if you can, May all the beings be happy. May all the beings be peaceful. May all the beings be loving. Feel all the energy get back to you. This gives you calmness and peace of mind. Slowly become aware once again of this inner consciousness for 10 seconds. Of yourself, the hero in you. Of your breathing. Of your body. Become aware of your toes and hands and fingers. And when I say peace 3 times, please open your eyes. Peace, peace, peace. How did you feel?
So peaceful.
Absolutely brilliant.
Relaxed.
It is a beautiful meditation, and this is a version that I did. But if you go on Google and say loving kindness meditation, you'll get it directly from that Saskia who created it, and it's amazing because it clearly gives you the compassion that I was talking about, and also the love that we need for ourselves, because sometimes we don't take care of ourselves, and this will assist you with that.
Beautiful, Akka. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone.
I can't thank you enough on behalf of all my super souls, and that's how we address, as in, like, they are all amazing. And now all of them can see why she's on my phone as sweetness.
No, it's very kind of Sheetal and all of you. It's such a pleasure being here. And, it's such a pleasure meeting all you super souls, and hope I can meet you all in person sometime and we can, have more satsang.
Yeah, thank you, Akka. Can I take a picture where everyone is smiling?
Okay.
Many times if you take a picture, someone's not aware, and then
Because I agree with you.
now Suki there is with little kids, so I let
Yes.
her smile. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Have a
Thank you.
wonderful day. Have a good weekend, everyone.
too.
Happy holidays.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Continue with Sukinder a little bit, but yeah, Akka, you can. Akka is such a busy day, and she's spared this much time for
No,
us.
it's my pleasure, dear. It's my pleasure. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
kind of you.
Thank you. Thank you. And it's my pleasure. Bye, everyone. Such a pleasure. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, Sukinder, do you want to come online?
Yeah, I'm here.
How was
I'm
it? It's so nice, no? I love it.
Yeah, I'm just, I didn't even actually comb my hair. My hair are right out of the bed right now.
Oh, don't worry about it.
I thought you were in some spa or something.
Nah, that's what I was also thinking. You look
I
so.
know.
You should have come on camera. I was thinking, why did you miss it?
Oh, maybe it's just a fuzzy background that doesn't.
I
Yeah.
actually wanted to come on the line with the oil in my hair, because Saturdays I put sesame oil for hair and for body, and I've been making it. So I added. This is the normal
I'm sorry, say again?
So only people who are talking can
Yeah, is
unmute.
it
Let's
or wait, I think it's TV, no? Sumir is partying alone at home.
I'm not partying a lot at home. I need to party actually. And you are the one who offered to take me out, and then you are not finalizing it.
Yeah, that's today. Yesterday I was thinking about it, but then it's like too late, no? You don't want to eat late. And you're working during the daytime outside, and I was too, so yeah.
No,
today.
yesterday didn't work out, but today we should go to that dinner, and if it's for a good cause, we can contribute even, and maybe we'll feel double good.
Yeah, let's take this discussion off. I want us to, and definitely we're gonna party. You'll see pictures. But how are you doing with your taming your tiger? I'm gonna call it taming your tiger.
Taming my tiger. Yeah, it's my tiger. Yeah, my tiger is very furious. I have I mean, I don't want to complain that yes, I have many challenges, but you know, I'm still struggling to like make my 10,000 steps. So apparently I still can't like go away from something and walk away. So like when I'm at office, I said I use a standing desk. So I try to just make steps here and there, but you know, I don't think I'm getting above 7,000 yet. So and also the fact that my trip got so much preponed, right? I'm leaving in 3 days. I had to kind of like jam pack everything that I was actually going to do before the holidays into like very few days. So I'm like, also, yeah, you know, just kind of stressed in that sense, trying to do all the things. And so then the only good things, I guess, is my intermittent fasting, because if I don't get time for steps, I also don't get time to eat, actually, so which is a good excuse. Yeah. So, yep, I'm looking forward to the goodness in the future. You know, intermittent fasting. But like I said, the gratefulness, like if I look at the 3 categories, I was looking at the to make sure I can cover them. You had the movement. In the movement, I'm kind of like medium, and the weights are in that category. So again, there's a little disconnect in my organization right now. My weights are in my office downstairs, and I do my morning stretches upstairs next to my bed. And the weights I put up there are the 8 pounds that I started, and then I thought that was too much, so I need to grab my 5 pounds up and use those. It hasn't happened. I'm just I have to fix that. So movement, and then is eating. Eating is fine. Like I can control things, so I think I feel good about my eating for sure. And then there are meta habits. Meta habits is those, I think you said, keeping track of things, and in that sense. And the gratefulness, it's easy, right? When I wake up, I just say thank you, Vaheguru, that for, you know, whatever I'm up and whatever I have. So it's kind of something I can say in the morning. And the breathing also is scattered all over the day, but not very consistent, actually. So again, it's like I tell myself to make it a habit. But yeah, just jam packed.
Sukhinder, thank you for the share. I want to request you to share this, like we could see frustration like hinted in all these things, right? So I want to see if you can flip it, like we were listening earlier, right? In the way we speak. So that what we are, like I've mentioned this before, we're very hard on ourselves. We're like, now imagine it's not Sukhinder. Give a name to this baby that's learning to walk. It's like, what the heck is wrong with you? Yesterday you walked and today you're tripping again and you gotta crawl. Like, come on, get up already and run. You know, get your milk bottle, it's right there. Why are you crying? Like, you know, you just pooped. So this is exactly how I hear it. Like I hear you say, yeah, I do breathing scattered, but it's not. So like not good enough, not good enough, not good enough. So we are not good enough to ourselves. And that's where, to me, the whole focus is. Like, I want you to consider the possibility to reframe every single thing that you shared, as in, like, I am so aware of the breath that I know that I have been doing it spread around the day. You know, that's incredible. That's something we've been talking about. It's not about doing a set sitting, which is nice, but it's about spreading that throughout the day. This tender soul that we are, you know, the love that we're missing, and we are thinking it's coming from somewhere else. It's not. It has to come from inside us, right? So I see you making so much progress, as in even with the awareness, to actually say, I am breathing in scattered ways throughout is exactly what we want. We want that awareness. We want that pauses between the asanas, right? And you are doing it. So I'm feeling so grateful. So that's how I'm appreciating myself. I can see that, you know, I am actually started so strong that I want to be 8 pounds. And yes, the swapping of the 8 to 5 will take a week or two because that's how, the things are all the way down in the basement and swap, right? But look at your intention. Look at this mother who is a scientist and busy with kids and facing with SHIT of all kinds, right? And she's got this intention. That's what matters than actually you doing even 5 pounds and being stressed out, right? So I want us to be like, I want us to project yourself. Have you seen the picture where the kitten is looking in the mirror and there's a lion? And the kitten is not seeing kitten in the mirror. I saw it in India back when I was in the school. I loved it so much that I begged my dad to buy that for me. It's like how you see yourself is the only thing that your life is made of, your universe is made of. Each of us have our own universe. And each of us, when she's talking about superhero, it's not just a term. When I ask you to pick for your, the cape, it's not because that's all of us are. And so I want you like, my intention is 8 pounds. And that's a huge intention. And you are going to go there. That's your vision board in 3D in front of you in your bedroom, and your kids are watching it. My mom, yeah, she wants to do 8 pounds, and that's a big amount for her. And still, she had the guts to put that there. It's not about taking time to swap to 5 pounds. It's our vision board, right? So what else did you say? Your movement, whatever. If you're doing 4,000, 5,000, it's good. It's not, it's like I am, like I said, when you're doing baby steps and it's like, come on already. Like my one kid, Kesha, got teeth at 4 months and rest of them got teeth at 8 months or something. It's no comparison. I think when we compare ourselves to where we should be, we are our worst enemy. I have ways to go. So it's not about, we all have ways to go to wherever it is. But when we compare, it's not even the other person, it's not even the social media, it's comparing where you think you should be to where you are. That is the most cruel thing we can do. The way we like, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, so I'm gonna drink coffee now. Like, okay, fine. Like, no, I want us to shatter all that stuff. I want us to be completely grateful because we look at the emotional scale, guilt, shaming, worry, frustration, all of this takes us down. And who the heck is the heroine of your life if it's not you? I mean, this heroine got the 8 pounds, baby. Within a few months or a few weeks or a few days, you're going to do it. That's not a big deal at all. I've seen yesterday with Kesha's friend. Oh my God, this girl is so skinny. I don't even know where all the organs are, right? It's being very non-PC. Should I not stop recording?
Oh yeah, you should stop recording because this is informal.
Yeah.